Howdy ho, neighbors, and welcome into the show on this Wednesday in the Bureau. That is the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Trust me, run tell them I said it. Now, what do you do? What do you do when there's a certain portion of your audience wants to hear something, and then there's a certain portion, that doesn't want to hear it? Who do you cater to? I'm saying, if you put yourself in my shoes, and you have, let's say, hypothetically, a soundboard that's clickable here in front of you, and like we learned yesterday, there's some things that there's a lot of people do like, that at the same time, there's some people, some very key people, don't like it. Who do you cater to? Do you not click the button with that particular sound on it to cater to the people that don't want it or like it? Or do you just keep on doing what you have been doing, which is assuming that a larger portion of your audience actually does like it and does want to hear it? And what I'm talking about is Jackson State Sonic Boom fight song. That's what I'm talking about. I think I can count on one hand the number of people who have not just thought it, but who've come right out and said they would prefer not to hear it. But I think I can count on one hand. Beaver is one. Thibodeau is two. And there was somebody else yesterday that agreed with them, but I can't remember who it is.
Grumpy.
Oh, Grumpy. Thanks, Beav. Beav has a much better memory than me. Grumpy is on the list. But that's the only three. Okay, and I have to, really for my own confidence, Beaver, I have to assume and go with the idea that there's more than three people who do like it that are listening.
Well, there's a lot of people just scared to bring it up to you.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, they're like, it's Matt Wyatt's show, and well, let's be honest. There's a lot of Matt Wyatt super fans that they don't want to upset their hero.
Yeah. Yeah, Beaver, I get that a lot.
I know.
Okay, well, let's do like a different experiment, though. All right, Beaver, let's do a different experiment. Let's say that it's, instead of that particular song and sound, let's say it's this one. Copyright infringement aside, Beav, is it okay that you hear this every now and then on the show?
Well, of course.
Okay. So what if there's somebody out there listening who hasn't voiced their opinion to me that they don't like this?
I guess that's the same. That's the same boat.
Well, I thought
they
you
don't want to. Well, the people that don't want to upset you, they're not gonna disagree with any of the sound bites or the songs or the musics.
Okay. I thought you were going to say, well, that's their problem.
That too.
That too. Okay, well, I think what I just did, though, is I played it down the middle. Beaver, like a good professional 2025 mushy head sports media talking head, like a good one, I totally straddled the fence. Now, I don't know if you noticed what I just did. And that is, I gave one part of the audience kind of what they wanted, but then I cut the song short, turned it down, and then gave the other side of the audience something they wanted also. It's the same as talking out of both sides of my mouth on either the same day or two different days, and just basically having no real stance on it myself, just strictly pandering to as many people as I can pander to, with the approach on the show.
So you've become Chris Brooks. Remember, that was Chris's biggest issue. He didn't want to ruffle. He didn't even want to ruffle one single hair of one single feather.
And bless his heart, it's because he's such a nice guy, Beaver. That's what it is. Chris does not like conflict at all. And, you know, I started to think there for a little while, Beaver, that he went so far not liking any conflict that he even didn't really like the made-up conflict when we were just kidding around conflict.
Yeah.
Like that, I think it bothered him. And then we finally got over it, and he came on the show. Well, I wasn't even thinking about him. I was thinking about, like, you know, your big box, mushy-headed sports media stuff on topics. Just straddle the fence. You don't really have to have a backbone. I mean, there's some people, Beaver, who've made it for a lot of years at very intentionally having the flimsiest backbone they can possibly have. Maybe I'm the one that's doing it wrong. Maybe having opinions, okay, or trying to stand on some principle every now and then is just simply not the way to go in sports media. Now, everybody, look, stop looking at me cross-eyed. I know it's a weird start to the show. But this is what happens when you come into a show and, oops, wrong button. We can listen to Charlie Pride now if we want to. I was saying this is what happens when you come into, you know, a show on a Wednesday in late December after the season's over. Bowl games haven't really started. And frankly, you didn't know what you were going to talk about to begin the show. That's what happened. All right. So the show is yours today. I effectively pick it up, hand it to you, place it in your lap or on the table in front of you, and the show is yours. And I'll follow along so you can be a part of it however you want to be. It's cool with me. Lots of different ways. You can comment on the live stream. Hey to you on Facebook or YouTube or X, formerly Twitter. Get on in there. Like Mason on Facebook simply said, "What's up, Matt?" Well, there you go. There's not much up so far, but glad you're here, Mason. But yeah, comment there, post it. I can see it all in one nice, neat column here on the one of the many computer screens in this office, and then pop it up on the screen. We can see what you're talking about, be a part of the conversation that way. You can also text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776, 885-3776. That's Country Pleasing sausage. I told you I went and bought some new jalapeno and cheddar sausage, and I've been feeding on that for the last few days. Man, it's some kind of good. And especially when you're stopped up, you kind of have a cold, you know, a little bit of that kick, just a little kick from that jalapeno. They also have habanero flavor, by the way, sausage at Country Pleasing. Go get some of that. Grumpy texted us and he said, "Matt, Grumpy is disappointed in your music selection. Signed, Hail State." Yeah, Grumpy. So you're in there with Thibodeau and Beaver as three who have voiced your opinion. You know, like all that stuff. Fight song, Sonic Boom. What if I play the Hail State fight song, Grumpy? Thumbs up? Maybe I ought to get some of those old school NFL fight songs. You know, like the Redskins have one, or they used to. They're not the Redskins anymore. Do the Rams have one, a fight song? It'd be well-traveled if they do. And you can also call me on the Junction phone line. Junction delis all across the state of Mississippi, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Number to call, 897-1059. It's a 601 number, 897-1059. We heard from him yesterday, now 2 days in a row. Wayne on the phone. What's up, Wayne?
What's going on, brother?
Not much. You tell me.
I'm gonna tell Peter something. You keep on calling about that fight on Gas State. I ain't gonna give him no more shirt.
So you are in favor of hearing the fight song?
100%.
Okay, all right. He's on my side.
Ole Miss, that's state. Ole Miss, you play them.
Okay.
You know, Alabama, Jackson State.
Okay.
You know, Southern, I hate all of them.
He likes them. Okay.
But I'm going after me another case tomorrow.
Really? Okay. I'll take some. but only if it's convenient.
They'll be going to fly right now.
Okay. All right, Wayne. Appreciate it. Be careful on the road.
All right, buddy. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Go check on the park.
Okay. All right. See you. How about that? It's about, really, I mean, it's super. I'm feeling, here you go, Beaver. I'm feeling super guilty because I was already thinking this morning, hey, I'm about to run out of this cane syrup that Wayne gave me. I've almost eaten both jars of it. I sure would love to have some more of it. And then, doggone, if he didn't call up today and say he's going to pick some more up. Hey, side note, speaking of, if you were listening on yesterday's show, you know, the and it was organic. It wasn't like planned. It just came up. The topic of the real cane syrup, like what Wayne gives us, compared to the sorghum molasses, like you can buy. I get some, or Annabeth gets me some from this place in French Camp. We were talking about that yesterday. Well, and there are people who still make it, obviously. Some of it, very old school way of making it. I ran across something. This is really obscure. It's out of nowhere, but I want to share it with you because I think there's a lot of people listening who would enjoy seeing this. Prior to this morning, I had no idea it existed. So I can't sleep lately because I can't breathe right. It's cold or whatever is keeping me up at night. So I was up in the wee hours, and I was, down this rabbit hole of studying things about the various old school highways that run north and south and east and west in Mississippi. And I was, started reading a little bit about, Highway 82, and, goes all the way to the coast on the other side of Georgia and comes all the way through here. And then Highway 51, how, it was the north-south thing, Memphis, all the way to Memphis before I-55 came along and all this. And in the process, I started looking up some of these interesting little towns that are along these different highways. And then you got Highway 4, and on Highway 4 in the middle of nowhere up there, not far from Senatobia, there's this little town called Wyatt. My name's Matt Wyatt with no E at the end, but this is a little place called Wyatt with an E at the end, W-Y-A-T-T-E. Then, just a little east of there on Highway 4, hold on with me, stay with me, I'm getting there, is this place called Chulahoma. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Chulahoma. Raise your hand if you've ever been to Chulahoma. Well, in reading about and, clicking around on Chulahoma, a story popped up about a man who made a short documentary in the early 1970s called Homeland. Okay? A story of the way of life, the old school way of life that was still going on in that part of North Mississippi, the North Mississippi Hills, in some of those areas, in the early 1970s. He made a documentary. Turns out, you can find that thing on YouTube. It's out there. I began watching it. Okay? In that documentary, again, filmed in the early 1970s, but part of the point of this thing was that there were people there who, in that, around Chulahoma and some of those other areas up there in North Mississippi, there were these things. I said Homeland. It's called Home Place, okay? It's called Home Place. It's on YouTube. Home Place is a film about rural life in the North Mississippi Hills in the early 1970s. And then you read on and it says by 1980, they had all disappeared. And I went back and watched it. It was really fascinating. Okay, the people that he was showing and what they were doing. One of the things in the middle of that short documentary was this guy up there kind of in that Chulahoma, Wyatt, Senatobia area out in the middle of nowhere where they grew their own sugar cane, okay, and then they would get together and had their own operation for making molasses syrup out of that sugar cane. And it showed and documented the whole process, these old people, that they're long gone now. And kind of how they were doing it and how they had this press that was a circular press with this long, weighted beam to balance it out, because they had a mule out on the other end of that beam who walked in a circle all day long, turning that press. And it showed them they're taking these big, bundles, if you will. They weren't bundled, but kind of, it's like they're bundled, of sugarcane stalks and feeding them into that press. Okay, I'm doing it. Somebody said, land the freaking plane. Here's what I'm telling you is go watch this. Yesterday, I'm going on and on about how good that stuff is. And then I watched this thing from the 70s. That's how they're making it. There are people that are still doing that. And I don't know if they use a mule to do it. But I'm just telling you, if you're a Mississippian, you need to watch, because it's not just how they were making that homemade syrup back in the 1970s in the middle of nowhere. It was a guy who was 80 years old and who was born in the late 1800s, who was a blacksmith, still hammering away, making tools by hand. And so this is the early 1970s. You need to go watch that. But you can see the syrup I was talking about yesterday that Wayne talked about today, how they used to make that. No wonder it was good. And it wasn't an easy process either. 𝐤𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢. Go check it out. Okay, again, the name of it on YouTube, Home Place. It's not very long. It's not like an hour and a half long deal. It's shorter than that. Probably 30-minute deal. Made by filmmaker Michael Ford, who at that time had moved his family to Oxford. He passed away only a couple of years ago. Anyway, go watch that. Fascinated. Wish I could have been there. Hand me a biscuit. Rebel Tiger Dog texted the show. He said, please keep playing the Sonic Boom. Mix in some Hail State. Wrap it in maroon and white from Jack Crystal every now and then. Gotcha. The requests are pouring in here today on this Wednesday. J-Rock texted and he said, hey, Matt, I know that you love polls. With a laughing emoji, he's being sarcastic. He said, let the callers text in and give you their opinion on the Sonic Boom. Okay, yeah, so let's put it this way. Since Beaver said this earlier, that there may be some people who, for one reason or another, have never felt comfortable voicing their opinion. Voice it. Text me. Let me know. Thumbs up on me playing all the Sonic Boom on this show, or thumbs down on me playing all the Sonic Boom on this show. Let's just see what we get. Now, I got the thumbs up from Grumpy on the Country Pleasing text line on playing the Mississippi State fight song, Hail State. He gave me, and somebody else, is with him and just asked for it. I guess it was J-Rock. Okay, there you go. So maybe the deal is, instead of what I normally do is just playing the whole thing, let it go on and on. Maybe just a little bit of it. Fight song in moderation. Look at here, unnamed texter. I'm a rebel. But State's fight song is so much better. And y'all have had, if you're a rebel, you've had sort of the in with this song, out with this song, trying to do new. And I said it before, I wasn't really trying to pick on Ole Miss at all. I just said, because of that, they just kind of have one that only the diehard Rebel fans actually know it. Okay? That was my comment on it. I don't really, good or bad, whatever. It's just, it's not recognizable. And I think that's part of it. For a long time, it was not really even the song. But he likes Hail State. It's snappy. It's a snappy fight song. Well, and how about this text? How about this text right here? From Mad Tiger. Matt, if they don't like the boom, they can mute the radio.
You know what time it is.
I mean, really. How can anybody not like that? Jason in Flagstaff said, if I had my way, you'd bring the old intro back. I'll say this as a super fan, I like the JSU Sonic Boom. I definitely play along with turn it up to 10 if I'm in the traffic. But he said it's not as good as you think it is. I'm so confused by your text, Jason. Now Jason's straddling the fence, speaking out of both sides of his mouth. Oh, I like it, but you play it too much. What? He said, especially the 38th time that you play it in an off-season week. There, I said it. Okay, fine, Jason. Yeah, maybe more in the off-season. I mean, what do you expect here? It's the off-season. Yeah, you're right. He said, you keep going east on Highway 4 there. He said, I'm going to end up homesick. I am fascinated by the off-the-beaten-path stuff. You get off the major highways, especially the newer one, like you get off 55 in Mississippi, you go through some places that you just have to visit and see with your own eyes. Okay, your texts, your comments, all coming up. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee?
I know you do.
Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more.
Losing again. You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. Just rolling along with you here today on this Wednesday. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. We had Chris comment on YouTube, all caps, Hail State basketball. Yep, big win for them. Well, I say big. Who was it? Beat somebody by 2 points. It doesn't matter. It's a win. It's a win. So, yeah. And thankfully, Hubbard is good to go and up on 2 feet and running around playing for you, right? Like, so the injury was not that serious. Hail State fan commented on YouTube and said, Blues legend Junior Kimbrough owned a juke joint in Tullahoma. Side note, my hometown in Tennessee is Tullahoma. Yeah, similar name. So it's obviously right. I mean, most likely goes back to Native American words, Indian words, names. Pretty cool. So Blues legend Junior Kimbrough. I'm going to look him up. A juke joint in Tullahoma. Y'all go watch that. It's called Home Place. It's a relatively, compared to a lot, short documentary from the early 1970s about life in rural Mississippi. A guy from like Connecticut or Massachusetts or something moved to Oxford. He was a photographer and filmmaker and decided to document the kinds of things that were going on, lifestyle and everything in some of those areas. And it's a good thing he did because, like you say, they pointed out that by 1980, all that was gone. It was gone, like disappeared. So he captured it all on video, and you kind of see it. See what you think. Did I land the plane? I'm not mad at you. Whoever it was that while I was trying to get to that, I'm the world's worst rabbit chaser when it comes to like getting to the point. Somebody said, land the plane. I don't mind it. I needed to see it. Thank you. Matt from Brandon is thumbs up on all of the soundboard and the fight songs. He just said all of it. Grumpy says, Matt, Grumpy's great uncle Preston had a sugarcane mill or press in Pontotoc with a mule. Said it's the best syrup ever in those days. And then he just said, hail Mississippi. Listen, it is a neat thing, that process. Grumpy, I wonder, do you remember the movie Sounder? Remember the movie Sounder? The whole soundtrack for that movie done by Taj Mahal, blues legend. It's just fantastic. It's a great, great movie. Sounder being the name of the boy's dog, but there's so much more story there than just the dog, but about some sharecroppers during that time. And that's what they did. Their family was feeding that sugar cane into that press with a mule going around in a circle. Apparently it was a very common thing. More Bully texted the show. Earlier he said, check your email. Not sure if you can or will say anything about it. Okay, I don't know what I'm looking for, but I will check my email. Then he said he's been through Chula 1,000 times, but not sure if that's the same as you. I don't think it is. I think Tullahoma and Chula with a T in front are two different places. In fact, I'll tell you for sure. So Chula, which I looked that up recently too for some reason. I can't remember what it was. I was going somewhere for one of these videos we were doing. But yeah, Chula is over there south of Greenwood or in the Delta, west of, between Lexington and Belzoni. Okay, but here's the thing, more bullet. There's another little community just a few miles north of Chula on what is that road, 49? Whatever it is. Just north of Chula, where you're talking about, called Wyatt, spelled the same as my name, with no E on the end. The one I'm talking about up near Senatobia is Wyatt with an E on the end, but it's pronounced the same. I don't know what that is. I need to probably look all that up. But yeah, it's two different places. Chulahoma is up there, on Highway 4 east of Senatobia. Okie dokie. And then he said, okay, so you found it. Okay, you found it. Yeah, the one I'm talking about on YouTube, look at it, it's called Home Place. It's a really like old school, rudimentary, but very just real, just bare bones, feet on the ground, real documentary of how some of those folks lived. It's pretty cool. I thought it was cool. I think you'll enjoy it. I think things like that, regardless of how anybody feels about any of that stuff, the more true and the more real it is, the more we all need to see it, including every generation, and kind of keep up with what really was happening, the way people used to live. Just right around here. Denzel goes thumbs up, yes to the sonic boom. So let's be honest. I'm a former band geek. The more band tunes, the better, he says. I wasn't a band geek, but I got a great appreciation for it. I'll be honest, Denzel, I think for me it does go back to when I was a kid, before I reached, the junior high school age where I could play that level of football. I was a kid just growing up, a little grade school kid, and my dad's taking me to games on Friday nights. This was in Russellville, Alabama, where we lived. And high school football, like that was a high school football town, man, growing up. Like everybody that you saw during the week at school and at work, everybody was at that football game on Friday night. Everybody you were going to see at church on Sunday was at that football game on Friday night. So it was like, this is what you did. And I just remember the sound of the band making such an impression on me and how I just loved it, because you didn't hear that anywhere else, the songs they'd play and the way they would, and the fight song after they scored and all that kind of stuff. The way they'd play when they'd march in, it just made an impression on me. I've always associated it with that, with high school football, and I love it. CB95 says, once you fill one request, you should fill all the others. That's the only thing about getting down the road of taking requests. Yeah, how do you decide who gets it and who doesn't? But then he went on to say, in that sense, do what you want. It's the Matt Wyatt Show. Somebody even said that. I think it was Danny, my man over in Georgia on YouTube, said, play whatever you want. It is the Matt Wyatt Show. Sometimes I forget the name of it. When it came to naming this show, boy, we really went out back in 2018 when we started it, we really went out there on a limb, didn't we? The Matt Wyatt Show. All right, JT texted and said, Matt, I've been to several molasses mills in my younger days. It's a real art to cooking the cane juice at the right temperature and for the correct amount of time. And then said, loved drinking that cane juice when it came out of the grinder before it was cooked. That's from JT. All right, JT. See, I can picture and sort of identify with what you're saying about the making of that cane syrup, not because I experienced it, and maybe not just from your description, but that little homemade documentary I told you about called Home Place, made in parts of North Mississippi back in the early 1970s. And when they highlighted that, I just watched what you're talking about. And the guy, and they even explained how he had a knack for, keeping the fire the right temperature underneath those trays, skimming off the stuff on the top. And you know, and then pouring it out at the right time, and you could see them tasting it to make sure they had it right, and it was great. Kind of a lost art maybe for some. Need more of that. All right, over to the phone line. The Junction phone line, Junction delis all across the state, fueled by Prince Oil Company. We got Iron Man 1961 on the line. What's up, Iron Man?
Hey, man, Wyatt, all good on my end. I hope same for you.
Yeah, doing well.
Merry Christmas, if I don't remember to say that.
Thank you.
Hey, Matt,
Hey.
I know you like to do some film study during the off season, and I'd like to ask you the favor
Okay.
of breaking down the 2024 Ole Miss versus Kentucky, LSU, and Florida games. Because I'm scratching my head trying to figure out how the great Lane Kiffin, the greatest coach in the history of college football, other than Nick Saban, how the great Lane Kiffin lost to a Kentucky team that did not win another SEC game, an LSU team that was mediocre, and a Florida team that was mediocre. The great Lane Kiffin lost those three games with 10 NFL players.
Yeah.
Matt White, 10.
Yeah.
8 draft picks, 2 free agents. 2 of those draft picks were first-rounders. Of course, that would be Walter Nolan and Jackson Dart, a quarterback and a defensive tackle. If you could pick 2 first-rounders off a team, I think those are the positions you would pick.
That's right. That's true.
How did the great Lane Kiffin lose those games? I mean, this is the Lane Kiffin that put Ole Miss on the map, right? Ole Miss was nothing until Lane Kiffin. Well, wait just a minute. Time out. Ole Miss is 8th overall since 1976 to present in the AP top 25, some of that was top 20 poll in the SEC. 8th. In the overall history of Ole Miss, 7th. Yep.
Yeah, gotcha.
1960 team went 10-0-1. Finished second in the AP poll behind an 8-2 Minnesota team. You go figure that one out.
I was going to say.
Yeah, politics. But you know, none of that counts because we all know the great Lane Kiffin. Until the great Lane Kiffin showed up, Ole Miss had never done nothing. Whoa, time out. Oh, we got to back up. I'm talking about since 1976 now. Okay.
Okay.
I can't remember when Vault's last year was or how they did, but we'll leave him out. But let's talk about Billy Brewer.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer-related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You know.
Back with you. Iron Man, wherever you are, however you're listening, feel free to hit me back. Music cut us off. We get the hard breaks here. So when it's going to break, it's going to break, whether we like it or not. So sorry you got cut off there. Feel free to call me back. We'll pick it back up. Also, I am trying to grab this audio of Eli Drinkwitz, Missouri head coach, where he had, not at all a rant, but he just had some comments about sort of the messed up nature of college sports and college football right now. Bemoaning it, complaining about it, whatever. And we'll listen to some of that, but we'll do it in hour 2. And that way, if you haven't heard it, I heard part of it, but not all of it. And we'll hear some of that and see what we think. But we'll pick it up where we left off. Comments on the live stream, text messages on the Country Pleasing text line, and your phone calls. I'll give you those numbers coming up. All right, hang on. Will says, bands really do make college sports special. Yeah, kickoff songs are great, but if you've not got a big band playing a fight song while the fans celebrate a score, what are you doing? It does. It does make it really, really special. Or, part of it. And over the years, you'd hear about all the stuff about what? The nostalgia and the atmosphere and the pageantry, the pride and the pageantry and all that kind of stuff. And the band has a lot to do with that. Pageantry, that's what it is. And I guess those are some of the more endearing things about college football in its current state, is some of that stuff we're still able to hang on to. Going to the campus where we went to school and lived for 4, 5 years, 6, 7, some of y'all. All of that. Let's see. Uncle D texted the show. He said, it just has to taste better when you pronounce it syrup instead of syrup. Yeah, syrup. Jason in Flagstaff, he said he sent it to me on Twitter also. He said, look into some of the history up around J.P. Coleman State Park before they built there at Pickwick. before they built Pickwick. He said he got a rough overview several years ago, and it sounded like he might as well have been in Virginia. Those people were so purposely hidden, always wanted to dig further, but never had a chance. Yeah, right. All those, it's like, the small towns, and when they built Bay Springs and dammed it up and flooded it, that they erased, and so many of them, like these old towns, are now underwater up there. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm fascinated by it too, and I've never stopped to actually study it. Maybe I ought to do that. Ready Teddy texted the show. He said, Ole Miss and LSU have agreed to a trade. Ole Miss receives interim coach Frank Wilson and running back Harlem Berry. LSU will receive, after the playoffs, running back coach Kevin Smith and running back Kawan Lacey. Not really, but it will happen. Just practicing. So they're just trading. And here's the thing about it, Teddy. All of the transferring and people and stuff moving around is not going to slow down. It's not going to settle down. It's only going to just get crazier and crazier as we go forward. I'll tell you how old I am, Teddy. I called a game on television. How many years has this been? 18 years ago. Close to it. Somewhere in there. I called a game on television, did color for a Marshall versus UCF game on TV when Kevin Smith was the running back at UCF. It's a true story. That's how old I am. I had hair and everything back then. Robbie, he votes for the Sonic Boom and then wished us happy holidays, he said, to me and to Beaver. Back at you, Robbie. Thanks. Nick texts the show. He says, I got a friend who talks about how he'd like to live in simpler times like the 1800s. Yeah, okay, here we go, Nick. I know where you're going with this. You're right. He said, then I reminded him that there was no penicillin, no anesthesia, no barbers, no dentists, unless they were the same person. Your entire family used the same bath water once a week. And he says, yeah, it wasn't quite as glamorous as Lonesome Dove made it out to be, was it? No. You're exactly right. Yeah, just because it was a long time ago does not mean it was better. It ain't better. And okay, Nick, let me admit another thing. I already told you about one short documentary I found out of nowhere. It's really cool, but it's so obscure. At 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep. Another video I came across. It was about a 30-minute show. Walter Cronkite, did a thing called Christmas in the Appalachians, early 1960s. It's an old black and white. This is a documentary type thing, but he goes up there to eastern Kentucky where it was, coal miner country, but by then the machines had taken over, so all the people were out of work and flat, dead broke, and poor as poor gets, in this area. Again, really obscure, long time ago, all this. But I watched the whole thing, and it was all about, how they had nothing, no such thing as presents and stuff for kids at Christmas and all this. And he documented several families and everything. You're watching all this, how these people were living. I know, again, talking about early 1960s, it's a long time ago. But even though it was then, and it's a black and white thing that I'm watching here, I came away from it, and the first thing I'm thinking is, I am embarrassed that I have done as much complaining about things as I have done, over the course of my life and recently. I am absolutely ashamed that I haven't been more thankful for, honestly, just like the way that God has blessed our family and, the way things are now and the access to running water and heated water and clothes and food and cookies. I mean, all these things they didn't have. I mean, there was one thing in that deal. Again, okay, Eastern Kentucky, early 1960s. But there was one family that he highlighted who I think, the wife and mother had passed away. The only thing that's left is the dad. He was an older guy. They had a bunch of little kids, like maybe 4 or 5. And frankly, one of the little kids was just an odd man out. They could afford and had some clothes for like a few of them to be able to, without being totally embarrassed, to go to the little school up there. But this little boy was just the odd man out. They didn't have clothes for him, hardly. What he had on was just rags, like one shoe. There's no top. His feet are sticking out of his toes are sticking out of the shoe. And he said the dad was like, I'd rather him stay home here with me than go up there and get made fun of. And I'm just thinking, how dare, Nick, any of us complain? And it's similar but different, I know, but yeah. Medicine, healthcare, food, cool in the summer, heat in the winter. And I know not everybody is as fortunate, even now, but still, we got a lot to be thankful for. A lot to be thankful for. I know I do. Tell you what, thankful for this hot coffee. I told y'all this last week. Nobody wants to hear somebody complaining about having a cold either. We all get sick. Some people are a whole lot sicker than I am. But one of the things is this, like the immediate remedy for me, cough drops and hot coffee. And I know I try to sell you coffee, okay, but I mean it. Hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. You can go to highpointroasters.com, order it right there. It's big 1-pound bags of it. So, maybe a couple dollars more per bag, but you're not going to run out as soon. Single origin, flavor from all over the world, different kinds, different roasts, different blends that they have, developed over the years. Flavored coffees. You can get decaf if you want that. But anyway, order it from them. Really wonderful people. And you'll like it if you're a coffee drinker. I mean, that's my coffee. highpointroasters.com. See my mug there? highpointroasters.com. Oh, yeah. All right, like I said, hour 2. When we come back, we'll see what it was that Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri had to say about, the current trash heap, tire fire atmosphere that we sort of have in college sports right now, at least from a structure standpoint. We'll see what he said, and then we'll kind of go from there. Your texts, your calls, your comments, all coming up. Hour 2 in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. Hour 2 coming up. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, That's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash, and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
424. Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about.
Coming to you direct and live at the Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone 105.9.com.
All right, here we go. Hour number 2 of the show, off and running with you. in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Hope you will comment on the live stream, text the show, call us on the junction phone. Lots of ways for you to be a part of the show today here on this Wednesday. I'll give you those numbers coming up. Staying connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. Check them out at cspire.com. Did he? Okay, I didn't realize that. Gene pointing out that Hubbard had 34 points last night in that win. Who'd they beat? I can't remember who it was they played. Non-conference stuff, it gets by me. But hey, a win's a win. You got to win those home games. 34 points from Hubbard. You think he's important? He's pretty important for them. Headlines are important to us around here.
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank, right here in Mississippi. Anything mortgage related, that's where you want to go. Buying, refinancing, whatever. Everything in between. Go see Win. Win! Michigan players feel betrayed. In his first comment since being named Michigan interim football coach, Biff, how do you say that name, y'all? Poggy? Pudgy? Poggy? Podgy? I don't know. Coach Biff said Monday, hey, all right, child of the 80s. Anytime you hear the name Biff, what do you think of? Yep, Back to the Future. Hello? Yep. Anyway, Coach Biff at Michigan said that his players feel betrayed and angry following the firing and arrest of former coach Sharon Moore. This was during a media availability for the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. In the NFL, the Dolphins are benching Tua Tagovailoa in favor of former Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. You know, talent and ability was never the issue with Quinn Ewers. He did get hurt last year, and it just kind of fell off. But he's uber talented. Now he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins as a rookie, their new starter. His first start is going to come Sunday against the Bengals. And Mahomes had surgery for his torn ACL and LCL. Monday night in Dallas, had their surgery, repaired the ACL and LCL. And interestingly enough, the surgery performed by Dr. Dan Cooper, who is the Dallas Cowboys head team physician. And so there you go. Those are your headlines brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. All right, here it is. Let's see. I haven't heard all of it. I've heard some of it. Eli Drinkwitz, head coach, Mizzou. I saw it on, somebody posted this from his press conference at Missouri, and the caption was, nobody whose opinion matters has a positive view of the current state of NCAA football. It said the few lawyers intent on destroying the game for their own gain don't care one bit about the academic opportunities they are erasing for the next generation. Okay, now whether you, that's just somebody's caption or comment and posting the video. Here's the video and what Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri had to say.
No, there's a lot of coaches discussing it and frustrated, in my opinion. And I understand the national sentiment because of the salary ranges of head coaches that it feels like we're complaining, but we're really not. We're trying to sound warning bells, and that's what I believe we're all trying to do, is that there's a warning that the system that we're in is really sick right now, and college football is sick, and not in a. It's just there's showing signs of this thing really cracking moving forward. and we need to get something under control. The SCORE Act was something that it looked like it was going to be a step in a direction. There is no perfect solution, but we have to get some sort of steps moving in that direction. I think we're all weighted with, is it bated breath, the saying, trying to wait on what's going to happen with this fifth-year lawsuit in Nashville, where you could have a flurry of fifth-year guys now being eligible, and that would just throw a completely new wrinkle in the system. Tampering is at, the highest levels. There is no such thing as tampering. It's just because there's nobody that's been punished for tampering. And so everybody on my roster is being called. I had a dad call me and say that, and I called the head coaches at their schools, that this school and this school and this school called, and they are offering this much money. And, it's you're putting a lot of pressure on young men. We're paying them as 1099 employees a lot of money. We're not offering any type of retirement. We're not offering any type of health benefits. And we've worked around the system and then tried to create that as the system, instead of creating a functioning way of moving forward and making sure that it works for everybody. And whether that's collective bargaining, whether that's making them employees, whether that's antitrust legislation that protects everybody, the commissioner or the SEC or the NCAA from lawsuits, something needs to be done. Because, again, TV viewership may be at an all-time high, and that's awesome. And gambling on sports may be at an all-time high, and that's great. I got no problem with that. But what about the well-being of the student athlete? What about graduation rates? What about tax implications? What about handling and understanding financial literacy? What is their life going to look like after 5 years of college athletics? Is it going to be better because they participated in college athletics, or could they be in a tougher situation? And, that a lot of us got into college athletics because we wanted to help young men grow and develop. And I think we're still doing that mission, but it's getting really hard because you used to talk about, Coach Saban used to talk about all the time, creating value for yourself. And when he talked about it, he wasn't just talking about value for the NFL. He was talking about creating value for yourself with a college degree. And we've lost that aspect of it. And these guys are going to create tremendous value for themselves playing the game of football, and that's awesome. And I love that these guys are getting paid. I love that last week these guys with their own money went out and bought gifts for Coyote Hill. I love that. That's awesome. But my job also is to look at them in 3 or 4 years down the road, and how many of them are in a better position because they've played football if they've transferred 4 times. And that's just the system that we've created. Not all freedom is good freedom.
Okay, a lot there from Coach Drinkwitz at Missouri, a program who, behind the scenes, has a reputation of doing more tampering more often than just about any other program in all of college football. Run, tell them. Yeah. You don't take my word for it. Just talk to somebody off the record behind the scenes who's involved. And they are blowing and going. They got like a whole burner team going behind the scenes at Missouri. Okay. So, for the record. But somebody say more, it doesn't mean that they're the only one. They're certainly not the only one. Okay, so what do you think about all that? Part of it for me is, it's more talk. You hear a lot of talk. I think that's probably one of the biggest issues is we keep giving I'm part of the problem. I keep playing a sound clip it's just all talk from somebody who has really no interest in actually doing anything. See, and then what can one coach do? What could one school do? What could one administrator do? Even one conference. Can one conference just say, listen, that's how y'all want to do it? Have at it. Good luck. We are all in accord here. We are willing to just kind of come over here and do our thing because we can put some structure around it. Makes sense for us. A conference could do that, but they're not. Why? Money, 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 money. See, so you have to ask the real questions. Now, here's my thing. Who is going to, when a coach complains, and a coach, whether it's Drinkwitz or Levy or anybody else, if, you know, and I know you don't hear from Levy, I'm just using it as an example, but any coach wants to complain, fine. I mean, anybody can complain all they want to. We're all complaining about it. You can call it a mess, which it is. We all agree. None of it makes any sense. It is not healthy. Okay, but then there's this. Was there a follow-up question? Hey, coach, if the fix for this meant either privatization or employment so that you could have full-on contracts and those things you're talking about, which come with, you know, retirement plans and health benefits and all that, if doing that meant all the coaches had to take a pay cut to make it happen, would you be willing to do that? You individually have to go home to your family and say, taking a pay cut. Still going to have plenty of money, okay, but pretty good chunks gone. Would you be willing to do that? So my thing is, it's great that coaches have these microphones and people will listen and we get a clip, and I'm interested in the clip. But I wonder who else is in the room. Coach, I have a question. Where should the money come from that is used to pay the players? Where should that money come from? Has anybody asked that question? Hey, Coach, would you be willing to take a significant pay cut along with all the other coaches if that's what it took to financially support a system that could get it under control, where you make, you instead of 1099, it's real deal, we have contracts, and you just handle your own fluctuation in the transfer portal by signing people to contracts. And now you're like a mini NFL team. You got a GM anyway. See what I mean? What if it took that? The people who complain about it openly, who are frankly part of the problem, what are they willing to actually do? See, that's the thing for me. I don't have a problem at all with someone stating a fact. Is it a mess? Yeah. Does this wide open transfer stuff, the players who access it and transfer for the fourth and the fifth and the sixth time, do some of them fall through the cracks academically? Sure they do. Would they, if they had to stay put? Maybe not. Okay? State the facts. Go ahead and state them. That's fine. We kind of all know what they are at this point. But without, and not just one person, without multiple people at the top being willing to say, okay, we will all do whatever it takes, even if it costs us, to get it under control and have something that makes sense, so that we can say, okay, yeah, we're providing opportunities for kids to play football and they get paid for it, fine. But we're also incentivizing the academic part of this because it's what's good for them. And we know that, whether they realize it or like it. And if they don't like it enough, they can quit. That's always been the case. And there was another thing in there too.
No, there's a lot of coaches discussing it and frustrated, in my opinion. And I understand.
Okay, a lot of coaches discussing it and frustrated with it. But what does that do? It doesn't do anything. See, I mean, the coaches, we know, including Eli Drinkwitz, we know what their mode of operandum is. Don't like it, all right? Complain about it, okay? Talk about it, all right? But also leverage it for yourself. Oh, I don't like the tampering. But we're certainly going to do it if we can. Right, Eli? See, Now we're stepping over into a little bit of the whole hypocritical part of this deal, where I'm going to complain about it, but I'm also going to do it because I can. There's no such thing as what's right and wrong. Right, Eli? See, here's another thing. It's an issue I have. Whether it's Eli Drinkwitz or whether it's Lane Kiffin or anybody, go on a 3-minute soundbite about it, but never once delve into even possibly discussing morality and right and wrong. The only right and wrong for him is what benefits me financially and in the win-loss column. Well, if that's how everybody thinks, what are you going to solve? What about, hey, let's all collectively do the right thing even if it costs us. Let's do the right thing even if it costs us. Do you really think that's your modern-day football coach's approach? Fat chance.
And the national sentiment because of the salary ranges of head coaches that it feels like we're complaining, but we're really not. We're trying to sound warning bells, and that's that's what I believe we're all trying to do, is that there's a warning that the system that we're in is really sick right now.
Who are you warning? We, the football coaches, are trying to sound warning bells. Who are you warning? Who are you sounding the warning bell for? I'll tell you who Eli Drinkwitz isn't sounding the warning bell for. The Missouri alums who are paying 12 of their defensive linemen $750,000 a year, $9 million spread across 13 defensive linemen. Who's paying for that? Alums. Here at the Church of the Missouri Tigers, don't forget your tithe and offering. We need D linemen. Eli Drinkwitz is not sounding the alarm bells for them, is he? Hypocrite.
And college football is sick. And not in a, it's just, they're showing signs of this thing really cracking moving forward. And we need to get something under control. And
okay, get something under control. Who's going to do it? And at what cost? Why does nobody ask him that question? How can you have a room full of media members and nobody follow up and say, who's going to get it in control and get what in control? Who? What? Specific.
The SCORE Act was something that it looked like it was going to be a step in a direction. There is no perfect solution, but we have to get some sort of steps moving in that direction. I think we're...
How many years have to go by with us trying to make some steps? I'm serious. It's 2025, about to be 2026. What are we, 5 years into it? And we're trying to make baby steps? Show me that you really don't really want anything done without actually showing me. Yeah, I don't really want anything done. 5 years and we're making baby steps. Do something.
All waited with, is it bated breath, the saying? Trying to wait on what's going to happen with this fifth-year lawsuit in Nashville, where you could have a flurry of fifth-year guys now being eligible. And that would just throw a completely new wrinkle in the system. Tampering is at, the highest levels. There is no such thing as tampering. It's just because there's nobody that's been punished for tampering.
Okay, well then what's the point? Tampering's an issue, but there really is no tampering. And I don't really need to say that. I need to back up because I do it too.
And so everybody on my roster is being called.
Who are you calling on other rosters? Say it. If you're going to be honest, be honest. Everybody on our roster is being called. So by George, we're on the phone too. Say it.
I had a dad call me and say that, and I called the head coaches at their schools, that this school and this school and this school called, and they are offering this much money. And, it's you're putting a lot of pressure on young men.
No, you're not. You're not putting What kind of line is that? I'm sorry. You're not putting a lot of pressure on young men. You're throwing money at them, but you're not putting pressure on young men. You're making it as easy on them as you can. Look at the money offers. Go anywhere you want to go, and you're not even bound if you go there. Pressure, let me tell you what pressure is. Pressure is the old days when you're a kid coming out of high school and you're getting ready to sign a scholarship knowing it meant for the next half decade of your life that's what it meant. That's pressure. Not that I'll take $750,000. I'll come to your place and I can go one semester, and if I don't like you, I'm out. Gone. Nothing you can do. Putting pressure on young men. The problem is you're not putting pressure on them. That's part of what we're complaining about right here. See, all this can be summed up this way. All hat, no cattle. Head coaches, ADs, presidents, commissioners, multi-billionaires and millionaires talk, really don't want to do a doggone thing. Weak. Selfish, hypocritical, sorry. Back after this.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog. On the field, I've got to be ready for anything. And off the field...
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, Oh, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now.
At the Zone 1059.com.
All right. Cooler heads prevailed in the commercial break. And then I went back and read, here, Danny quoting me, weak, hypocritical, sorry. Okay. He said, gee, Matt, what do you really think? I probably went a little too far. Let me just say, though, Danny, I'm not doing it anymore. What I mean is, I'm not playing any more sound clips from these, two-face coaches. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving any more attention and air to just hollow bemoaning, complaining. That's what that is for me, Elijah Drinkwitz. I've done it. I had the one clip from, I think it was Mullen, and then some, politician that was on that committee in Washington, D.C. or whatever. And that's maybe a little different. But you know what? Let me just tell you what we have, Danny. We have a complete and utter void of real men leadership in college athletics. That's what you have. Okay, and the starting point to back that up, every single one of them's out for themselves. Every single one of them. Okay, I believe that to be true. I'm sorry. Makes me cynical. Maybe there's an individual I'm painting with the wrong brush. Okay, but what I'm saying, I believe it to be true. A complete and utter void of real men, backbone, stiff, stick to principles with some morality and integrity leaders. You don't have it. Gone. I mean, there's a guy right there. Oh, by all means. One of the things I think is great about today's college sports is that everybody's gambling on college football. Even that's up. That's great. I'm all for it. You know what? Shut up. That's not who I want leading me into and for anything. Said it. You think that's a positive indicator of the direction of something? You're lost. You are lost as a goose, along with everybody else. So no more complaining from those people. Not hearing it anymore. There ain't a one of them. Line up all the names of all the coaches and all the ADs and all the presidents and all the commissioners. And you can't find one who isn't looking out for his own rear end first, who would even consider stepping off into something that might settle it, make sense, and be the right thing, but it'll cost him money. You can't find a one who would do it. I can't. So all the complaining, they might as well not complain. It's hot air. Embarrassed that I played it on my show. Won't do it again. It's a waste of your time. And no, I actually, the singular thing of paying players, okay, front door versus back door, above board and as opposed to below, under the table. That singular thing, I don't think is the linchpin. But I do think the collective move by everybody involved, and I'm talking about, the alums and the boosters at our schools, but I'm also talking about everybody at the schools. Like I said, quote unquote leaders and administrators. I'm talking about them too. Going, well, let's just do it. Let's just go all out. Let's don't have any rules. I like it better without rules. Let's don't consider doing what's right, because doing what's right would really cost me, man. It cost me. I mean, it's pitiful. And stand there and go, TV viewership is up. Is it? You know that? You happen to know that? For what, a game or two? It's, what else can be said about it? Not much. I don't know what else can be said about it. It's pitiful. Bama fan texted the show and he said, Matt, you were sounding angry, but I agree with you. Coaches need to have an association and go to the NCAA along with commissioners and say, this is what we want. Do it, or we're just going to withdraw and start our own new association. You have all these people in charge, supposedly have all the knowledge and degrees and all the stuff, and none of them can figure it out. So they just say, well, let's leave it a mess. Let's just leave it like the wild, wild west. No accountability, no nothing. And yeah, that is what they've done. Because like I said, Bama fan, what it comes down to is, you have the leagues and the associations that are, they're always in waiting mode. They're always in waiting mode, waiting for this and waiting for that. Like in your own life, Bama fan, if you're always waiting for everything to be perfectly, obviously ready for you to step forward, what happens? Nothing. If you wait until you think you can afford to have kids, guess what? Well, you won't ever have them. If you wait to start that project, fixing something at your house until is exactly the right time and you have exactly the right moment on the calendar, guess what? You won't ever start it. So maybe even I do agree with that comment from Eli Drinkwitz in that you do need to make some steps. But, again, what steps? It's like all these people want everybody else to do something. A whole room full of people, and all looking at each other going, you move first. No, you move first. It is a big quandary. Okay. But again, like, you would be so much better off than what you have right now. You'd be so much better off if those teams were, frankly, in some kind of weird way, privatized yet connected to those universities, where each one had ownership groups. Because then your owners would get together and actually figure it out kind of the way they've done in the NFL. But it's what do you think the solution is? even if you were to make a list of, okay, next steps, what would it be? Well, see, here's what you want a pie in the sky. Number one, a league like the SEC that is so big and so popular and so powerful. Go ahead and decide that you're going to stand on this principle right here as a league. Okay, and the ones who've come in, you're in our league now, so you're with us, and here's what we're doing together collectively. We are so big and so popular and so powerful. We're going to stand on this principle. We as a league can do whatever we want. We can have whatever rules we want, and we can follow whatever rules we want. It's up to us. Well, the Big Ten, I don't care about the Big Ten. They can do what they want to do. See, one problem you have is that nobody's willing to break away and do their own thing. For some reason, all those people, right on up to Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, has, and I guess maybe it's because television is the one paying all their salaries, and so maybe they're helpless. Maybe television is the only factor in all this. I don't know. But they're all under the belief that, the national deal and the national interest is the interest. And, we can never have some sort of dividing line between Southeastern Conference schools, because they are schools, and Big Ten schools. We all got to be together. We got to go into all this stuff together. Coast to coast, a national thing. Bull. That is bull. The quickest way to start fixing something is to break off and do your own thing anyway. And the SEC is powerful enough they could do it. We're going to add a couple more. We got our own league. We're going to have our own national champion. We're going to do these rules. We're going to pay them this way. We're going to have these types of salaries, and we're going to have these types of contracts. And I don't care what the Big Ten does. Let them pay them more. That's fine. We're still going to have the primetime slot. Because you know who wants to watch Alabama versus, Georgia? Everybody. So start right there. Back after this.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog. I know a thing or two about the...
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Whee! Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. We got that. What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea, grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roast it right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more.
1059.com.
Oh, all right, back with you. Today is National Maple Syrup Day, or as we discovered earlier, it's better to just to say SERP. It's National Maple Syrup Day. Put that on the calendar for next year. It's too late. No, I mean, you don't have to have. You don't have to have maple syrup at breakfast, do you? I guess you can have it at other times. Later in the day? Have some now, why don't you? Happy National Maple Syrup Day. Let me put a bow on it. Okay. 5 points for you regarding complaining. Leaders that lead you into a scenario and then complain about it. And then I'll move on. Number 1. 50, 60 years, you had a handful of blue bloods. They could pay any player they want under the table, any amount they want, however they want. Very little outcry. Now, all of a sudden, every school can pay. And it's like, oh no. Okay, so save me that. Number 2, like I said, there are no leagues, including the SEC. They don't have to do anything. They can make whatever rules they want, live by them. They just have to want rules and have to want to live by them. Number 3, you got to ask the question, how many of these individuals would volunteer for a pay cut if it helps fix it? Okay, because if the answer is none, well, it ain't ever going to get fixed. Number 4, all talk. All talk. Coaches, on this stuff, all talk. That's all it is. And finally, number 5. Please continue your tithes and offerings while we figure it out. Aren't we something? Aren't we something? I guess I'm in on it too. I didn't even mean to be. Sorry to risk ending it on such a sour note. Hey, don't forget. Here's what's going to happen. Are you ready for this? Okay, he said it a long time ago. I'm just repeating it, bringing it back to the surface here on December the 17th, 2025. Mike Leach had it right all along. And ultimately, we're going to be right where he said they should be. It'll be decades later. You'll look back, pull up the sound clip. Nobody at the worldwide acronym will give him credit because they didn't like his politics. Turns out he was right all along. Eventually, we will get to 30, as many as 30-something teams in a playoff. Yep, eventually we'll get there. Yep, absolutely. What did he say later on down the road? You really ought to have two types of athletes on these college teams if you're going to pay them. One, the pro kind, who he wants them. He don't want the education. He wants the money. And then the other kind who wants to be a student and wants the education. So you're going to have two kinds. You pay one, you don't pay for the other. For the other, you send them to school, you pay for all that. It's traditional. For the other, you treat them like a pro, but if you don't like things, you can cut them. And you do have contracts. Guess what? We will get there eventually. It's just a matter of time. Had it right all along. Let's see. You do have games. All that said. All right, let me try my turn at being a big fat hypocrite. All that said, you do have games to watch tonight if you want. Camping World Stadium, the Staff DNA Cure Bowl today, 4 p.m. Old Dominion and South Florida. And then tonight in Mobile at 7:30 on the worldwide acronym, Hancock Whitney Stadium, Mobile, Alabama. That's where South Alabama plays. It's the 68 Ventures Bowl. Louisiana versus Delaware. A couple of 6-6 teams in the bowl games tonight. Let's see. Are there more? That's the only ones. That's the only ones tonight. And then tomorrow night, the Xbox Bowl, which that's a new one. I didn't know. It's on the Deuce tomorrow night. Frisco, Texas. Ford Center at the Star. Missouri State versus Arkansas State. Friday night. Playoffs. Yeah, Friday night, Alabama versus Oklahoma. Playoff game. Norman, Oklahoma. Biggin. Earlier on Friday, you're going to get a 10 a.m. deal. 10 a.m. Central. No joke. In Conway, South Carolina. The Myrtle Beach Bowl, 10 a.m. Friday. It's Kennesaw State versus Western Michigan. Then at 1:30 on Friday in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium with the pirate ship down in the end. It's the Gasparilla Bowl, which, it used to be inside the old Tampa Bay Rays Stadium indoors. State played in that one year. Didn't they? Yeah, something like that. But they don't have that anymore. The Rays are getting a new stadium, so they're going to play it there at Raymond James. 1:30 on Friday, it's Memphis and NC State in the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. So a playoff game Friday, and then a bunch of playoff games on Saturday, 3 of them, which, of course, is 11 a.m. College Station, Texas A&M hosting Miami. 2:30. How about that? It's on TNT. Interesting. Is the Ole Miss, that'll be a laugher, versus Tulane. Bless their hearts. I mean, bless Tulane's heart. They're in. It'll be the interim bowl. You call that the interim bowl. But Ole Miss and Tulane, it'll be like 40-0 halftime. And then that night, another one of those 40-0 at halftime games, Oregon versus James Madison. But bless their heart, they're in there. That's Saturday. No, you don't have college games on Sunday this coming weekend, but you will then really fire it up the following week leading up to Christmas. You'll have Monday, a college game in Boise on the blue turf. Tuesday, you'll have 3 bowl games, including Southern Miss in the New Orleans Bowl against Western Kentucky. 2 other games, a bunch of MAC teams and stuff. Wednesday, you'll get the Hawaii Bowl, Hawaii and Cal. The following Friday, the day after Christmas, you get 3 more bowl games. So we're all set for a good little while. Somewhere around the new year, I'm going to go to Charlotte and watch State take on Wake Forest. And the farther it goes, the more need and more pressing need there is for me to pull up Wake Forest, look at their season, start watching some of their games and learn a little bit about them. I think they're kind of in the shape that a lot of teams are, is that you have to, know that there's some players aren't going to be there who have been a part of your team. But hey, whatever. David and Brandon says, I disagree. To me, everything points towards a tough game for Ole Miss. Maybe so. You could be right. I don't see it. What, has Ole Miss gotten that much worse and Tulane gotten that much better since Ole Miss absolutely embarrassed them in Oxford earlier this year? Same place, same stadium, same 2 teams. And I mean, walked the dog on them. Could have beaten them as bad as they wanted to. I'll be very surprised if it's close. Denzel texts the show and says, you can't call Ole Miss versus Tulane the interim bowl because Summerall is coaching Tulane on Saturday. Oh, okay. That's true. That's right. What reckon how bad those Tulane players want to play for him? Hey, look, I know they're pros, okay, and they're getting paid too. Are they all getting paid at Tulane the way they are at Ole Miss and State and everywhere else? Maybe they are. But reckon just how bad they really want to win one for the old Coach Summerall. What a mess. The whole stupid thing is a joke. But I love you, and I appreciate you being here today. We'll line up, do it again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. For Beaver, I'm Matt. We'll see you tomorrow.